everyone, welcome back to the 2018 Granny Square Crochet Along. Today we are making the daisy wheel granny square. It's got the main part of it is the popcorn stitch. So we've got some popcorns going on in the middle here, and we've got popcorns around the outside as well as some V-stitch. So you can use as many colours as you like for this. I've just gone for the simple 2-colour square, which I think looks quite effective. So I've just made this video for you, so and recording this at the end when I've got a square to show you. So let me leave you now to have a look at the video and see how it's done. Okay, so to start, round 1, you want to make a ring. Either use the magic ring or chain 4 and do a slip stitch to your first chain to make a ring. And then as we've done so many times before, you want to chain 1 and then do 8 single crochets around your ring, and then you're going to slip stitch into the first stitch to make your first round of 8 single crochets. And now for round 2, I'm going to stick with the same colour for round 2. We're going to make double crochet popcorn stitches. So we're going to do 5 double crochets for our popcorns. So we're going to do chain 3 for your first double crochet, and then you're going to do 4 more double crochet in that same stitch. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then take your hook out of that loop, and I'm going to put my hook back in that top chain of our chain 3. Some people on the starting popcorn would say go into your first actual stitch, but I prefer to include this chain. So pop your hook into there, and then pop your hook into your last loop and pull through, and that closes that round into our popcorn stitch. And then chain 1, and then you're going to do a popcorn stitch into each stitch around. So I'll show you that for a full one. So go into the next stitch and do a double crochet, do 4 more double crochet in there, so 5 altogether, 3, 4, 5, pop your hook out, go back into your first stitch, pop the loop back on and pull through that first stitch and chain 1, and there you go. You can see here you get your little popcorn stitches, so it kind of just gives them a bit of depth there. Okay, so you're going to do 1 in each stitch around. You have do a 5 double crochet popcorn and then a chain 1. So you have 8 popcorns and 8 chain 1 stitches spaces, and I will show you where to fasten off at the end. Okay, there's my 8 popcorn stitches. I've done my last chain 1, and now we need to slip stitch. So go over to your popcorn, and if you look, you have got your stitch here where you joined, and then you've got a bit this side. You need to go to the right because the left is your chain. So go to this side and under that stitch and pull through. And there we go. There's our first or second round, but our first round of popcorns. Cute. So I'm going to fasten this off and grab a new colour. Okay, so you want to join your new colour in any chain 1 space, so between your popcorns. If you're keeping the same colour, then just do a slip stitch across into your chain space. Now you could do a standing double crochet if you prefer. Today I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way of chain 3, and then you want to do 3 more double crochet into that same space. we go. So this chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, so we've now got 4 stitches in there, and then we're going to go straight into the next chain space. Be careful to check that you are actually in this space and that you don't slip and go into the stitch. So in the next space you want to make 4 double crochet as well. Four, and you're going to work around and do 4 double crochet into each chain space, and then when you come around to the beginning, either slip stitch into the top of your standing double crochet or into the top chain of your chain 3. And there we go. I just need to do my slip stitch. Now the next round is another round of just sort of straight double crochets, and the round after that will be more popcorns. So I'm going to stick with the same colour and change back to my yellow for my next round of popcorns. So it's up to you. If you want to change colour, go ahead, and you can change colour in any stitch you like. Just fasten off here and join into the same stitch or any stitch you like. Okay, so for round 1, 2, 3, 4, round 4, we are going to chain 3 for our first double crochet, or you could do a chainless double crochet, I think it's called, and then you're going to do 2 into the next, 2 double crochet into the next stitch, 2, 1, 2, and then 1 into the next, 2 into the next, and 1 into the next, and then continue round doing 1 double crochet and then 2 double crochet all the way around until you get back to the beginning, and you're going to slip stitch just as before into your top chain. Okay, so you should have 48 stitches altogether. Now I've just counted mine because we started on 1, so you should end on 2. Now I've ended on 2 here and I've got a stitch left, and I've counted back and I've only got 46 stitches, and I've looked around and I've found that I've missed a stitch around, but you can't really notice it. So I'm just going to put 2 stitches in this last stitch, and because this isn't the feature of our square, it won't notice. If I lay this down, you probably, all you see is a lot of stitches. You don't see, oh no, there's 1 missed there, or there's two more there. Absolutely fine. If you need to do that, go ahead and do that, or if you need to take a stitch out somewhere, then it's fine. On this particular pattern, it will not hurt one bit to do that. You know, I like to find a way to not have to undo my work if I can help it. So there we go, 48 double crochets later, and I think that looks really pretty, just that flower on the green. But we're going to do another round of popcorns, so I'm going to fasten this colour off and grab a new colour. Okay, so I've joined my back to my yellow in just any stitch, and you could continue in the same colour if you prefer, that's absolutely fine. So what we're going to do is chain 3, or you could do a standing double crochet, that's fine. I'm going to chain 3, and we're going to do our first popcorn. So we're going to do, just as before, we're going to do 4 more double crochet into that first stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So then with that chain, that gives us our 5 double crochet. So I'm going to go into the top chain there, pop the loop back on and pull through, and that's our first popcorn. And then we're going to chain 1. And now we're alternating popcorns with V-stitch. So each time as well, we're going to skip 1 stitch on the previous round. So chain 1, skip a stitch, and then into the next stitch you're going to do a V-stitch, which is a double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet, and chain 1. skip a stitch, and then in the next stitch you're going to do a 5 double crochet popcorn, just as before. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Pop it back into the first one, pop your loop back on and pull through, chain 1. Then you're going to skip a stitch down here, and into the next stitch you're going to do a V stitch, so double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet, chain 1. So this is what we're going to end up with: popcorn, V stitch, popcorn, V stitch, with a skipped stitch in between each. So continue all the way around: popcorn, chain 1, V stitch, chain 1, popcorn, chain 1, V stitch being double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And I will see you back around here where you'll do a chain 1 and then you'll slip stitch into the top of your popcorn. And you will end up with 12 popcorn stitches and 12 V stitches. And there we go. How cute is that looking? Lovely bit of texture going on. Love it, love it. And the back is looking pretty neat as well. I've worked over most of my tails, so looking pretty neat. So I have fastened that colour off and I've rejoined my green. You could join a different colour or you could continue. If you are continuing, you want to, sorry, I don't know if I told you, just slip stitch into your last popcorn stitch. Okay, if you are continuing in the same colour, just slip stitch across into the chain 1 in the V stitch. Okay, you want to be in the V stitch. So I've rejoined my joined my new colour in the V stitch, okay, in that chain 1. And you are going to chain 4 to be your first treble crochet, and then you're going to make 2 more treble crochet into that same space. So yarn over twice and do a treble and then do a second one. So you now have 3 trebles there, and then you're going to chain 3. So this is your first corner. Now I haven't actually seen the written pattern for this square yet, so the written pattern may be telling you to start somewhere else and you might be doing your double crochets, which we're going to do in a moment, but it doesn't matter where we start or which stitch we use for our beginning stitch. It will all end up exactly the same. Okay, so don't worry if you see the pattern saying to start somewhere else. It will all be good. Okay, so 3 more treble crochet in that same space. Go through that one. 1, 2 and 3. And there is our first corner. So now we're going to chain 1, oops, and in our next V stitch, we're only working into the V stitches on this round. So in your next V stitch, you're going to do 3 double crochet. So the pattern might have told you to start on one of these areas, and that's absolutely fine. It makes no difference. Chain 1 and 3 double crochets in your next V stitch. Chain 1, and then you're going to do another corner. You're going to do 3 trebles in your V stitch. Chain 3 and 3 more treble crochets. Oops, try that one again. There we go. And then you're going to work along and do 2 more sets of 3. So chain 1 and then 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then do another corner, and then work along. So you're doing 2 sets of double crochets and a corner, 2 sets of double crochet and a corner, all the way around, and then you're going to slip stitch in your very top chain of your chain 4, and I'll see you back around there. And there we go. How gorgeous is this? I know I say it on just about every square that I video. I love it, I love it, it's gorgeous. But I think it's so cute the way that all these popcorn stitches are there, and I quite like it just in 2 colours actually, rather than lots of colour. But I'm sure you'll show me an array of colour in the group photo album. The group link is in the description below if you aren't already part of that group on Facebook. So I do believe that the pattern is going to have an optional single crochet round in addition to this so far. I need a bit of extra size than a single crochet, so I'm going to do a half double crochet and see how that comes up. But by all means, you know, do whatever size fits you best. Have a measure and see how much you're missing. If your square is missing 1 inch, remember that means you need ½ inch either side. Okay, I am going to do a tutorial sometime about how to size up or down your squares. I'm going to do half double crochets, but as I said, you can do single crochets if you prefer, or even double crochets if your square is really small and you need extra size, then you could do double crochets. Anything's good, whatever fits you best. So we have the basic square done already, so the rest of it's just finishing off the edge. So okay, so I'm going to just do a little chain 1 to get me started. If you're doing single crochets, do a chain 1 to get you started. If you're doing half double crochet, you can do a chain 1 to get you started. If you're doing double crochets, then you might want to do chain 3 to count as your first double crochet. Okay, so I'm going to do a half double crochet into this very same stitch. Do your single, double, whatever you're doing in that stitch, and then 1 in the next stitch and 1 in the next stitch. And then, now I don't know how the pattern is going to be for the corners, so I'm going to do it my way. If the pattern says slightly differently, then I apologise for that, but whatever you need to do. So what I'm going to do, 2 half double crochets, chain 1, and 2 more half double crochets. So you can do that 2 doubles, 2 singles, and a chain 1 in between, whichever stitch you're doing. And then I'm going to do 1 stitch into each of the next 3, and 1 in my chain space, 1 in each stitch, and 1 in my chain space, 1 in each stitch, one in the chain space, 1 in each of the next 3 stitches, and again in the corner I'm just going to do 2 stitches, chain 1, and 2 more stitches. And then I'm going to work around the rest of the square in exactly the same way. And when I come back to the beginning, I'm going to do a slip stitch in my first half double crochet. If you've done a single crochet, do your slip stitch into your single crochet. If you've done a chain 3 for a double crochet, then slip stitch in the top chain. And I'll see you back around there. And there we go, I finished. I've actually added a round of single crochets as well as my half double crochets. I could have done double crochets instead, but actually this makes it a bit more sturdy than just having double crochets. And on my second round, when I did the single crochets, I did in the space I did single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, and then again 1 single crochet in each stitch. And I think you might agree with me that this is such a cute square. Just trying to hide my yarn ends there. Such a cute square. So I hope you've enjoyed that, guys. I hope you've enjoyed making this daisy wheel square. If you have, please click that like button and give us a thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, just keep hooking and don't let your tea get cold.